when I have to like really practice because I know if I start laughing, he'll catch on. You know, I want him to like, and boom. Boom, we're live.
Live with it, yeah.
Yeah. I still didn't make no peanut butter jelly sandwich with strawberry jelly. The best jelly.
26 minutes.
For anybody say.
God.
The best way to watch Get Nerdy?
Yourself, right?
With peanut butter jelly sandwich with strawberry jelly. Not apple jelly. Nah. Not even original jelly. Nah. You could get some jam as long as it's strawberry jam. For anybody say. Not grape jam. I might want that. If my son was here, he'll be like, no, Dad, apple jelly and apple. Because he is the apple jelly person all day. That's his favorite thing. I'm like, that's okay.
All right. It's that time again. Welcome back to the show. This is the Get Down. That means it is Wednesday. And we are about to, as the show says, get down and talk about some nerd gaming news. I am your host, The Hammer.
I'm your boy, Snake.
I'm Mingo D.
Yeah, Joey. Tell him. He's a little late, huh? A little late, huh?
He starts the live.
He tried to get that. He had to make sure to get the pink shirt out.
I had my computer set up. I was ready, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing. And then he didn't start the live at 9 o'clock. So I apologize for his.
I apologize for him not giving me his details so I can start on live. Right.
No. We actually
did,
right? To be fair,
right, Joey. He's been waiting all this time. You making Joey wait.
I got some news a little bit late, so it's not entirely his fault. But he didn't have to make
people wait.
It really didn't feel like he could make it.
So rude.
But I appreciate what he does. So moving on from that, we're not gonna argue. We're gonna talk about this gaming news. We'll get right into it. So Nintendo Switch. So if you haven't seen, on the internet the last few days, they've got I guess this is like the mid-gen refresh for the Switch. It's a Nintendo OLED, Nintendo OLED. It's like I said, it's kind of a mid-gen refresh, kind of like they did PlayStation Pro. That's kind of what I'm relating it to. The price on it feels a little bit because it's releasing at $350 American. The regular Switch was just still $350 not that long ago, so I'm kind of about that. But you do get a larger screen. This one supports wired LAN, which, for what I've read a few times, a few different places, there was a lot of games that were on Switch that seemed to struggle with using the Wi-Fi. Said they weren't as far as online play, they weren't as reliable through Wi-Fi. So you're going to get wired LAN support. Oddly enough, and this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to key in on. One of the things I want to key in on with this, it is not 4K. Now, I said that to ask this question, and I'm jumping right in. I'm going to ask my boys, and I'm going to ask people to watching. I need to know, do you feel like Nintendo missed out on an opportunity by not going 4K with this device? I understand it's a mid-gen deal. Do you think they should have did that? Because, I mean, PlayStation Pro added a lot whenever PlayStation Pro came out. Do you think they kind of fell short with this not being 4K? Mingo, what do you think?
Yes. The reason being is because of $350 price tag. I understand that, maybe, no, I don't understand. I was going to say maybe I understand because, with the Series X and the PlayStation 5 coming out, they're out, and people looking at those price tags, they're probably going to be like, oh, I just get a Switch for $300, that's cheaper. But for people who know, if you shop on Amazon or eBay or any those other stores, like maybe AliExpress or whatever, you could probably find an original Switch probably for $100, or less dollars possibly now since the new Switch is out. So I think that's just gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way, especially a lot of people who wanted to have more than one console or whatever. I don't know. I mean, you might find some soccer moms that might not care or know what's going on, who got a little pocket change that might just buy just because their kids want it. But I just don't see it. I can see the 350 price tag making more sense with the 4K because 4K is something that's harder to do. And then you have the OLED screen plus the YLAN. I can possibly see that. But without that, I need more features. I need them to tell me some features, something that it doesn't have before. Does it fly? I mean, can you do virtual? I mean, what does it do? So I don't know. I'm thinking for that price tag for it being a mid-gen console and not something that's moving over to the next gen because Nintendo goes on their own schedule because of Nintendo. I don't know. I think they dropped the ball. I don't like it. I don't know.
I kind of agree with that. Snake?
Well, I don't know about them dropping the ball. I mean, they're kind of doing literally what everybody else does. They come out with this new thing that, I mean, everybody does this. Like it's like PlayStation. They come out with the PlayStation and then slim version, like Xbox, slim version, like it. So like Nintendo, like for Nintendo to do this, like it's actually different for Nintendo because you don't see Nintendo coming up with upgrades or anything like that. They put something out there and it's out there. Like they don't have an upgrade for it ever. So that is a little different for Nintendo. Like I do agree with Daniel that they should have fixed the Joy-Con drift, opposed to just getting a bigger screen. I mean, the screen, I do feel like it is a better upgrade. I mean, the way wider and stuff, but I like I said, I do feel like they should have focused more on the problems that they had like with it than just giving us a screen. So, but I do like that Nintendo's trying to keep up.
So yeah, and Daniel just said too. He said he thought the lack of Bluetooth, which is one of the things I was actually going to bring up. There's no Bluetooth support for audio, so you can't. Which I don't get that. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why that's even a thing. I don't. I mean, I just don't quite get why that would be out of it.
So the new model has a bigger 7-inch OLED screen.
Yeah, and it larger. It has larger memory storage, like storage too.
Yeah,
64
gigabytes versus 32.
Which is cool because Nintendo games are still.
And you get a much bigger flip back. You gotta include that.
You see, like that, I think that's ridiculous. I do like the color choices. They have the white, off-white, and I think there's what it says red, blue, and black. I think. As far as the colors, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I do like the color choices that they came up with. So it's a little, there's like neon blue, red, and then off-white and white. And what was I gonna say? The dock is pretty much the same. And he brought up the Joy-Con controllers. That's a valid point too. Because my little brother has a Switch, and that was his pet peeve about it. Was that the Joy-Cons? They got that stick drift in like no time. Like he had it. I don't think he had it a whole year, and he had to go get new controllers. He had to go buy a new set of Joy-Cons to stick on the side of his because controller drift. And you would think now in this day and age the controller drift would not exist anymore. Like totally understood it like on Nintendo 64. That was a design flaw because you had that. I mean, I got one right here. So this was a design flaw, as you can tell. Like anything, like that it's hollow like that, and that's sticking that far up, it was bound to do that. Like even as a kid, I knew that was eventually going to be toast. Like I 100% knew it. So I mean, but you would think nowadays that wouldn't really be a thing anymore with controllers. We have bigger problems like the lack of Bluetooth, like that, that stuff. Stick drift should not be a thing anymore. But apparently, Nintendo still has that issue. They claimed, side note, that the expensive controller for the new PlayStation was like that with the haptic. They said it started having some stick drift. Some people started complaining about that after playing some of the games that took advantage of the haptic response. They said some of the triggers did weird stuff too after they played it so long, which, I mean, in theory, I guess makes sense. Because you got to think the way that works. They said that with the haptic response that developers can make it to where if something's happening in the game and they want it to reflect like what you're feeling. Let's say there's a situation where maybe you're shot in the game, you're on the ground and you're trying to like pull the trigger, but you're weak. They can make that trigger on the control extremely hard to press down. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, if you do that and somebody, really bearing down on it, does it tear it up? How long does it really last? Like how many times can you really do that before the controller is shot? Like it was just little things like that. But
I mean,
I just
depending on if you're a angry gamer, like it I mean, that one throw down that controller, like you ain't gonna worry if he pushes down hard enough. The wall's gonna push it down enough.
Shout out, Henry. You first place. Because I've heard him throw a controller, and that sounds about. I've heard it. I think we've all thrown a controller at least once. We've all thrown one at least one time. At least one time. You ain't a gamer if you ain't thrown a controller.
I haven't thrown.
You have thrown a controller once.
No, I haven't. Literally, I haven't. Ever. Huh?
You're lying.
No, I'm not. I've dropped them. I've dropped them. I have not thrown my controller. Huh? No. No. Out of frustration? No. The only times I've dropped it was accidentally slipping out of my my lap. Like trying to get up. Or like tripping over the cord. I don't throw my controller because like even if my thought process stops me from doing that because I'm like, I gotta play with this. I'm not gonna spend money to buy a new one.
True.
Like I don't have that. True. So my poorness kicks in before I throw or fuck up something. So I'm like,
yes, Daniel, Mario Party.
I need those walls. I gotta live here. Like I need my controllers because I need to play. Like if I throw it, if I break it, I can't play. So no, I don't throw my controllers.
I got like 6 controls, so if I ever get that kind of pissed, I can throw one. It's okay. And I have 6 controls on purpose / accident. But anyway, unless you're the perfect gamer like Snake, who has never thrown a controller, I'm teasing. Anyway, the point is, people get frustrated. They do things. It could be bad. I think with the haptic controllers, I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to take at least one more generation before they perfect that. And as far as Nintendo and the Drix with the stick drift, somebody needs to step up to the plate and do some fixing, especially since you've come out with this mid-gen refresh of a Switch and you're charging $350 for it. Somebody needs to fix this. Just fix it and be done with it. That's just my opinion. Snake said he didn't feel like they dropped the ball on it, and he had a valid point. Nintendo doesn't normally upgrade. They don't normally do mid anything. Sometimes you get like different color consoles. Like the GameCube, they released, it was purple, and then there was like a little bit down the road they had some games that came out. There was that limited edition silver one, and then there was a black one, which I had a black one.
And the Wii U, they had the Wii U and the Wii U Pro, but at one point.
So I think that's when they really started kind of trying to do something in between.
Yeah, they don't upgrade. They just don't upgrade as much as PlayStation and Xbox and stuff.
Yeah, it's not a hardware upgrade. See, PlayStation, when they did PlayStation Pro, that was a hardware upgrade. You had bigger hard drive. You had I think 4K support. They had like all the different stuff that they added to it. I still feel like this should have had some sort of 4K support. Like, why?
I don't know. I think honestly, I think it's just, I don't know. I think Nintendo was trying to make themselves more niche. I mean, Nintendo is the one that's been out probably longer than everyone, and I think Nintendo didn't like the fact, and it's, you know, you're getting older, and you don't like the fact that the new kids are coming on the block and they're outperforming you in the technologies and all that. And I think Nintendo decided, oh, we'll just stick niche, because at first, whenever PlayStation would advance to the new PlayStation 2 or Xbox 360 or whatever, and then, or whatever the case, then Nintendo would, oh, we have this, and then all three of them were going, and Nintendo kept getting left behind. So I think Nintendo was like, well, we don't want people to know that we're getting old, so we're gonna just stick to this little niche and pretend that they were doing this on purpose, when actually we really just getting our butts kicked, you know, as far as sales and everything else. But if we say we're niche and we're only doing this for the kids, or only doing this because we want Mario and Sonic to survive, or whatever the case, everybody will believe us. And then, because I remember that one year when they was like, we're not releasing a console this year, and everybody was like, what? And then 2 years later, we're releasing a console, and everybody was scratching their head like, well, why would you do it in the middle of a console generation? And Nintendo was like, oh, we don't follow with those norm console generations. What's that? We just do what we want. And then everybody was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. But it was just, I think it was just a way to kind of stop people from looking at the fact that, you know, Xbox started making more money than them. Sony was already making more money than them. And then they're like, oh, what do we do? You know, we have our other Japanese competitors, so to speak, who works with an American brand. I guess, is that Sony? I'm assuming that's beating us. And then we have the American company, Microsoft, that's kicking our butt. What do we do? Let's just do it. That's my opinion on it. That's what I think they did. That's the way I look at it. Whenever I look, I'm like, whatever. Y'all just didn't want to compete on the big scale, because after a while, their games weren't like, you know, AAA, as what they call the AAA games. They stopped doing so-called AAA until Breath of the Wild, and then, you know, Bayonetta, and then, you know, some of the others that they're trying to do now. So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to come back into the AAA gaming space, trying to, you know, get everybody back on board, get the, you know, y'all first-person shooter gamer people back, you know.
That is a good question,
maybe.
Joey. Also, both everything that Joey's like, Nintendo is a bit of nostalgia. They strive on basic. That is true. Yep. And then also, he said, do you think Nintendo is taking advantage of the shortage that PS5 and Xbox are struggling with? Which
100%, yes.
Yep.
That's the only reason. If
it's a good move
somebody
on
were
their
making
part.
a case, if somebody's making a case as to why they're not dropping the ball, that would be the number one argument right there. You can't buy a PS5, you can't buy an Xbox, but Nintendo's here, and we have OLED. So yeah, in that regard, yes, that is a huge win. Like, to be fair, I mean, that's probably the smartest thing about this whole announcement and release, which, by the way, it releases officially October the 5th. So not like everybody else does, like, oh, in time for the holidays. Even though it is in time for the holiday, it's still kind of early for even that. Because, you know, they usually try to hit like November right before Black Friday or right after Black Friday,
right.
Cyber Monday, whenever you start seeing that. But they're going October 5th to release theirs, which kind of fits into what you were saying, the being different. They always, I mean,
if they release Breath of the Wild or a new Mario at the exact same time, then that's 100%. That means that was the best thing they ever could have did. Because I can see that you like they're saying, they're taking advantage of the shortages, and then all of a sudden, you know, since they already had the Nintendo Direct thing, they say, oh, hey, by the way, for, you know, people who want to play an extreme AAA game, we got Breath of the Wild, and for everybody else, we got this Sonic game that just came out and this Mario game, and then you can bundle this. If they do that in October, yeah, they definitely gonna win, because that's, everybody else they're gonna sell.
It will then be a win. I'm just gonna say, If you're gonna go buy one, go ahead and buy you an extra set of Joy-Cons. Keep them up in the closet because you're gonna tear that first pair up. They're gonna get that stick drift, and you can just have another set on deck, ready to roll. I mean, in all honesty, I hope they do fix that because that really is the Switch. For as simple as Nintendo has played it, the Switch, kind of like y'all was saying, has its place, and it's a nostalgic thing. It's a niche thing, but it is cool. Like when you really think about it, the fact that it can be on the TV, or I can just undock it, hook my controls to it, take it with me. Like it's kind of what Tyler just bought for his cell phone to be able to play his Xbox on. Nintendo kind of was doing that. So in a way, they're kind of leading that space because with the Switch being portable, they kind of were already doing the whole take this anywhere. Yeah. Like, I mean, when you really think about it, they kind of were already doing the, hey, take this somewhere else and you don't have to play it on the screen here.
This is dope.
You can play it on this screen right here. I mean, so in that regard, they're kind of leading the way. And it's cool, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. But if you're interested in one, $350, you get the OLED, you get the bigger screen, you get the larger hard drive for storage. Supposed to have better audio too. That was something said. A better onboard audio. That was another lady mentioned. And you can get neon red or blue or off white, I think. So there's that. And if you're in the market or you got kids, there you go. Get them a Switch. Let them play some Mario Kart, Mario Party, Smash Brothers, Zelda, all of that. Anyhow, moving on. So, Assassin's Creed. I left these two subjects here because they're lengthy subjects. So,
or you could just go get your kid one of these.
They don't know nothing about that, bro. You aging yourself whenever you do that.
Aging? Like, this is a new thing, sir. This has an HDMI port on the back of it, sir.
The box is new, but them games that are on there, but
hey,
that is what used to.
They gotta start somewhere.
8-bit.
They better start there.
Anyhow,
or go get some board games before I get you a freaking Switch.
Assassin's Creed. I'm not doing this with this man. Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft.
Let's go fish.
Not announcing, but there's supposedly a leak. We know how leaks work, but they are working on something that is code named. I don't know if they've officially named it, but I'm gonna say code named to just keep it safe. Assassin's Creed Infinity, and basically this is going to be their attempt at a live service Assassin's Creed. Now, we all know why they're going to try to do this. Because unless you've been living under a rock, some of the biggest games now of all time are live services. A la GTA Online, / GTA 5. That is one of the some people aren't going to like it because it's not their thing, but to be honest, when you look at sales and longevity and everything else, that is one of the greatest games of all time.
I just want to know though, like I want to know how, like how's it going to work, like
what they're saying here's what I grabbed from what I read. What they're going to attempt to do, when you buy Assassin's Creed, every time you buy Assassin's Creed, it's the same story of the Assassins and the Templars, but it's always a different timeline. Instead of different, whether it be the Origins, which was, what is it? I forget the type of Egypt, but it was Egypt. Then you have Valhalla that just came out, basically Vikings, Nord mythology. Back to even the original, when they were talking about Jerusalem and everything else. It's always different timelines, but what they're going to do now is they want to start with a game and have it be an online service where they can implement different timelines into the same game whenever they choose to do it. So essentially, they can have a story, have that story end or have a stopping point, And when they get ready to add more to it, they can add to it. And if you have to jump to a different timeline, you can jump. They can add it to jump to that timeline.
So
Because you
kind
got
of
to
like the
think,
timelines are all DLC type things,
yeah,
like
in a
DLC
sense,
packs, or
they're all DLC,
or like
which isn't
or kind of like a Xenoverse, if you want to think about it timeline
kind
wise,
of,
like
kind of,
jumping into
because
different missions or something.
and it's possible because when you think about it, what is the one thing that's common in every Assassin's Creed except for no, in all of them? The one thing that's common in all Assassin's Creeds. Well,
The Animus.
yes, that so the fact that that exists gives them the opportunity to say, okay,
So you
we
make
have
your
this.
own character and then you get thrown into thing.
That
That's
did
what
not say. That they did not say. They've basically said that they wanted to be a continuous game, live service ran. I also think it's a way. It's not a cop out, but I think it's easier for them to come up with more content quicker. Because Assassin's Creed, I mean, it takes them a little bit each time they do it, and I think developing entire games, I think they start, like Mingo said earlier when we were talking before the show, I think they're starting to run out of true ideas for individual games. I mean, they've been to how many different timelines we hit.
I don't think that they're running out of ideas because there's so many different history things
right.
you can lines you can go down.
But think about how they've already went now.
Yeah, I'm just saying they what was it after 3? Because that's the one I stopped on because I was trying to finish that and then they came the third one with
Connor.
Yeah, with Connor. With the Indian.
Yeah.
Oh. I stopped. The only reason I stopped was because I'm trying to finish that one, and next thing you know, they just started busting them out. Like, God dang! Like, can I finish this one? Like, these games are hella long. Like,
they are, and that is one thing. And you know what? I have just about, whether it's digital or physical copy, I have just about every Assassin's Creed, and I've played all of them except for. Okay, so the side ones, side stories, I haven't played.
See, I could have
played a little bit of the Caribbean.
The Black Sails.
Played a little bit of it, and then, but I didn't play. Like, there's one in Russia. It's like a 2D side scroller. There's one in China that's like that, and there's one somewhere else that's like that. There's those. I haven't played those yet. I have them. I just haven't played them.
I could have played.
And I haven't played
Valhalla.
I haven't played Valhalla yet.
Like,
I'm waiting to play.
I like the way I play. I couldn't keep up. Like, yeah, I wanted to make sure I get all the feathers and all the secret things. Like, I complete it before I move on to the next one.
That's the reason why I haven't started Valhalla, and I haven't finished. You know what? I take it back. I have not finished Odyssey, which is with the Spartans. I haven't finished Odyssey because I got caught up in Origins, completing all the quests, and then they had DLC that ended up being like $2 whenever I went to download. So then I downloaded DLC, and that drove me back into that game again. So I take that back. I'm partially done with Odyssey, which is not a bad game. It's good. I liked it, but I can see your point as to why you haven't made it through, because there's a lot in those games. And, I mean, don't even get me started on like Assassin's Creed Unity. There's 2 playable characters in the game. There's a dude and a chick, and they both and while you do the story, they still both have different, like, the story's the same, but their objectives do different things. So you feel like you have to go back and do it with the opposite character in order to, like, if you're trying to 100% complete the game, which is a thing for Snake. That's what he's talking about. Like, that he would be there forever because there's too much content. But I think it'll give Ubisoft a little bit of a breath of fresh air as far as Assassin's Creed, and I think it gives them an opportunity not only to drop in content whenever they want, but I think they can I think the story will become more unique because they can just add a set timeline. Like when we get DLC, like you brought up for Xenoverse, they add something. Yeah, we've seen it in the anime on the show, but they add something to where we can go into that, and it adds to an ever building story. And with Assassin's Creed being basically a continuous story, I mean, yeah, they killed off what's his name, but the Animus part still exists, and you're still dealing with Abstergo and the Animus and whatnot. This way, I think they can drive the story in the directions they really want to, and it may make for a better Assassin's Creed experience because it's DLC. You're not having to go buy a whole nother game that's just chucked down to this whole one thing. It's a continuous twisting story that keeps going and going and going and going, and could jump from ancient Egypt to modern times if they want to, and then back to, I won't say the Stone Age, but you know what I'm saying, like back, and then stop somewhere in between. Maybe you stop and visit, with Connor. Maybe you're a separate character and you go help Connor do something in Assassin's Creed 3. Who knows? I think it allows for that. I think that's why I'm a little bit excited for it. I mean, it's still fresh. It's still, something that they're looking at. But I do want to get the opinion of Mingo, who has been scratching his head.
So. Joey. So first off, before Domingo goes, like Daniel was saying, that Assassin's Creed started down a Red Dead Redemption 2 level road, but Rockstar has got the online down and can delay release. Ubisoft needs to switch up and bring the level to their cadence. One of his favorite missions, he said, was Animus glitches, and when you go between different timelines, like Ezio running from planes bombing London. Joey said, so is the newest game going to be a true next-gen game? And why not First Civilization?
I think... I'm pretty sure this game will be... by the time they get this together, it'll be next gen for sure. I don't see that. I don't see it going on the current, I keep saying current. I don't know how much longer I can say current with this Xbox. Let me say old gen, and then current gen to me is the new systems because they've been out long enough. But I think it's a Series X PS5 game for sure because it's still new. And even though it's a service, they're still gonna, they still gotta build or whatever this is. And I don't see the point in building for the previous console gen at this point on something like that. Now, some of these other games that they've been coming out with, I'm glad they've come out with it, on this generation because of the current continuous shortage of new consoles. But at some point you gotta let it go. You gotta focus your attention to what's becoming current and leave what's old behind. I think Assassin's Creed will be one of the ones that if it doesn't start that trend, it'll be in the midst of the ones that truly start that trend of, okay, no, we're not developing for Xbox One, we're not developing for PS4 anymore. It's PS5, Series X only, Series X, Series S. So I would not doubt it, Joey, if it is a true next-gen only video game. And as far as Daniel, I mean, if they can find a way to incorporate First Civilization, should do it. I mean, if you can make it make sense. I mean, I don't know what all you're gonna be able to do. I mean, it would be kind of like a throwback to like the first Assassin's Creed. If you go back and play that game, you realize how limited you are on certain things compared to where you are now. Like, I don't even think they had the ability to. It wasn't in the first game. I don't think you could dive off the roof and assassinate people in the first game. I think you had to like sneak up behind them and do it. And you could climb the roofs and move around, but it ain't like it is now where you can sit over the top and see dudes down there like almost assassinate them, jump off and kill them.
Just because you go back before the first one doesn't mean you can't get new moves.
I mean, yeah, but I
Anyway,
don't know how.
let me go talk now.
Okay, go ahead.
Play better on Xbox. So I said that because you got to thank Phil Spencer and the others Xbox, because you have this whole model, and not just Xbox, Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, Destiny, others, because you gotta this whole new moving to digital games with service type thing has really blew up. A lot of people didn't think it was gonna blow up when Destiny was first coming out, and they did it. When Grand Theft Auto did it, everybody's like, this is not gonna work. When Fortnite came out, when PUBG, everybody's like, this is no way this model is gonna stand. But as you see, before pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, and in the middle of pandemic as well, that model was exploded. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants something that you can get on, you can buy it for maybe $5 or $10, or get it free, and you can play it, get DLC, play it, get more DLC, and it is I would say it's the baby brother or baby sister of a open world MMO. Because the MMO, you have all that. That's been there for years and years. Everybody know MMO, World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy, Reborn. Everybody knows that. But this is I would say this is a way to get people kind of invested in like MMOs without necessarily taking the ganter of spending 99 hours of your life in MMOs, right? Some people aren't, especially the casual crowd, aren't ready for that. But everyone sees that the money is in these games with service type of games. And I think Assassin's Creed is like, you know what? We can make money off of it, of course. And then also, you go back to the original, I think it was Daniel was talking about, or Joey, one of them was talking about the glitches of how Enzio was able to go through the time and glitches. The thing about that is that when you go through the original games, the first 3 games, I believe, from what I remember, they had a set beginning and end. If I'm right, I think they had, we're going to go to Assassin's Creed 1 to 4, we're going to use the Animus, and we're going to tell this unique story, and then we're going to end it. It's like always, or whoever's in charge, they're like, you know how much money you just made off that? Make another one. You know how much money you made off that? Make another one. And then after a while, I think they started leaving the Animus behind. I'm saying it wrong. I think I'm saying it wrong. They started leaving it behind, and they start focusing on that, on these individual stories, without taking it back to the person that's going back and forth between modern world and whatever. Then, of course, the movie came out and kind of messed everything up. So I think they just kind of want to separate themselves from the movie. But what I believe they're doing is that, like I said, they want to make a lot of money. Then they want to retell that story, but better. I mean, why not? Because what's the next thing to do when you have a game that's been out for such a long time? You do a remake. You do an HD remake. You start from the beginning and try to remake the entire thing, unless you can just keep going and going and going like some kind of sports game. But other than that, you remake it. But why remake it when you can go a games for service, right? So you do a games for service, and with this, it'll be great. You, just like you were saying earlier, Hammer, you probably can have it to where everybody is in the Animus, right? They can change the story up and make it seem like you're with what's his name? The guy that's traveling, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Carter. What's his name? The guy that travels through from the modern world. What is his name? Connor? That's his name?
No,
Connor?
No. Connor was the half Indian, half Englishman in
I can't remember the guy. Who's the guy that was in the Animus?
Desmond was the
Desmond, there he is.
Yeah, he's supposed to tell him.
Sorry about that.
God.
Yeah, he is.
I liked watching him squirm.
No, you don't need to see that. But they'll probably have something to where he wakes up, he looks around, and then they see all of us, and maybe your screen is looking at him, and then we see the scientist people, and they're saying, it's more than, it's all of you, and you all have to blah, 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 whatever, story, and you all have to go back and make sure the timeline is intact or whatever the case may be, and then they send you back, and then we all of us, however many, 64 people, whatever, we're in whatever timeline. And then if it is first civilization, maybe we're the Mayans, or maybe we're, cavemen, or maybe we're, riding dragons. I don't know, whatever they decide to do, and they can just revamp the entire
Nah,
story,
they just
or they
go.
can just take what's already there and just move it to the new gen, the current gen,
No, if they go
and
off
just
of if they like if you go off of like what Daniel was talking about with the first civilization, like basically the aliens that came down and like started the
Yeah.
whole Eden thing.
Misinterpreted what he was saying.
Yeah, just basically they kind like start there, and then like the whole online aspect would be basically them like making people, and then like they're just seeing how it goes, like type thing. I don't know.
yeah. But you know
So
what?
then
You would still need the
everybody
assassins, so
would.
you would have to start probably like later on in that era. You probably have to start later on once civilizations already moving
Do you
around a
need
little bit, right?
assassins though?
Yeah, in an Assassin's Creed game, yes,
But
yes, you do.
do
Yes,
like
you do
you
need
got
Assassin's
aliens?
Creed.
You got
I'm
aliens
You
on
doing
still
alien
you
things? Like
you
that's
need to assassinate an alien or an alien. No, don't
well,
not an
that's what I'm
alien
saying.
assassination. Taking it
If
too
they
far.
made people and then like put it out, like then that's the whole like you
But
run
yeah,
around killing
somebody
each
would have to
other.
start the Templars, right? So you would need that one guy that's like, I hate what these aliens have done. We can't grow crops or whatever. So I'm creating an Assassin's Guild. Still, something would have to, and then you could be the guy from the future that's like, I have to stop the whatever person from killing that one alien, or
So you want to do
whatever. It has to be
Terminator?
the assassin. No, it has. That's Assassin's
You
Creed.
would
They send them
you
back
would
to do
basically
something. That's what they
They
you
don't
would
do.
basically
send
be
them back.
rewriting the same story though if you do that, because you got to think like with the Templars, they kind of told that story as well.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They can use this opportunity if they're trying to make it so-called open world like Destiny. Because Destiny's the best thing I can think of. Because it's not necessarily like GTA. It's one of the ones to where you get your 3 people, you have this unique story, and you guys go in and y'all do all this stuff, and you see other people, and all that. So that's what I'm saying. They can revamp the entire Assassin's Creed story if they wanted to, and make it to where it's multiple people coming from the future into the past doing things or whatever. And then that way that can make sense for the different timeline jumps and skips or whatever the case may be. And then they can, and then if they want to retell the Templars or create a whole different assassin guild, they can, or they can have multiple assassins guilds and maybe do a division and have you fight each other. I don't know how that would work. Maybe that might be great. That would kind of be great, like a dark zone all the time. But you gotta be careful. So you Snake, Kaiser, and Henry or whatever, because that's what 4 would be good. Because then I don't think anything else probably too much. And then y'all 4 y'all walking in, but you gotta watch out for this other Assassin's Guild. That'd be great. I think Elder Scrolls did something like that, so they can do that, and then it'll make sense for more DLC. So I can see them revamping the whole thing. But the whole point of it is a games for service makes a lot more sense for that type of game without it revamping and making it whole 100-hour game that you have to try to complete before they come out with the next one so they can keep their money going. So I think it's dope if that's what they're trying to do. If they're trying to go to Destiny model but keep it like how GTA did as far as like content rolling and rolling and rolling, and but keep it but promote it like people do Fortnite, because Fortnite has so much promotion, it makes no sense. You see it everywhere and everybody knows what it is because they post it everywhere on trains and buses, on whatever ads you're on. It's Fortnite. So if they could do it like that, yeah, they'll make some money.
And I think you're right. With it being like if they do it open world like that with the ability to work with other people, I think as long as they keep the missions and stories and stuff replayable, they have to work on making them very replayable. Give me a reason to replay it. Give me a reason to want to replay it until you come out with the next stuff. Because that's something that, for the most part, GTA was really good at. when they added, I'm tell you right now, when they added the casino and the diamond heist or the casino heist, I don't know how many times me, Snake, Kaiser, Jr. I don't even know who else played there, but I don't know how many times we ran that heist because and a lot of it we would catch when they would have like bonuses. They'd have like double cash, blah blah blah, or they'd have like better chance to get diamonds. There was multiple things. You could get gold, you could get diamonds, you could get artwork, or you could get cash. And the fact that it was randomized pretty much made you want to play it again because you were hoping to get the diamonds or the artwork, or the gold. Cash was, if you got cash, you got cash, but you could make a lot more with some of the other stuff. So it made it to where you wanted to replay it. Because I'm lying, the setup in that for GTA is a bitch. That heist setup is a bitch. There is a lot of
to
stuff
do. Yeah.
They tell you it is a lot to set up for that heist, but in the end, you did it because you were hoping, like, man, this time it's gonna be diamonds, or this time it's gonna be artwork, or this time it's gonna be gold.
Some of
I
those,
gotta do it.
Some of those are like ridiculously long though. Some of them is just like stupid for no reason. Like really, or the very first heist that they came out with, which I still hate that they haven't redone yet with the new setup. Like they should go back and all the heists and stuff they've made prior. They need to reset it up to where we can go in and set it up how we want to, like the new one.
Yeah,
like the new one. Yeah, and to be able to redo that. Because the first one, they tried to make you freaking bicycle up a freaking mountain and to go to the top just to parachute down, for no reason. You know how many different ways we've done that? But the marker wants you to go this way. And there's no way somebody can do that the right way and get the money.
Exactly.
The cops are shooting you, the helicopters are chasing after you, and they have a dead shot on you all the time. You are constantly losing money. And if anybody's ever done that with getting the money and everything, you're cheating. You put in some kind of cheat codes, I don't give a damn, you cheating.
But yeah, Hammer, that's one thing that I think that they do have that is good is the fact that they already have content. I'm gonna take a page from Snake here and say the same way. Now, don't go on a rant. Same way Disney and some of these other movies, when they do live action, you already got the format. Just take the format, put it on there, boom. They technically can take some of the stuff from all the other games and put it on there, and then just add extra features to make it even dope or whatever. For example, when you have to go in and fight, I think you either have to fight George Washington or you have to have George Washington save him or something. They can revamp that mission or whatever, put it in there, but for multiple people, and they have multiple things going on or whatever. Or better yet, the one where you have to actually drive. That sounds very wrong for what I'm about to say. It's because you don't drive a ship, sail the ship. Yeah, when you have to sail the ship, and you can actually have your whole crew in there, and y'all can be doing things. Like somebody can be loading the thing up, boom, and shooting them other people, whatever, going in, stealing the loot or whatever, and getting ready. You can actually do that now because you actually have a whole team. So they can actually take those things that were in the other games, put it in here, and make them better. And because they already have it, they can actually do that instead of coming up with brand new stuff. They could. So if they do it, because a lot of games is like you already got it. Why aren't you doing it? So who knows? It's that broken game, weird system thing that Kaiser always talks about. But if they do it right, that'll be dope because you already have the content.
I think because I'm telling you right now, Black Flag, if I had somebody that could either have driven the ship while I shot the guns or vice versa, they would have made it so much better. And to be fair, I didn't do a lot of. I'm about to divert off to come back to what I'm saying. Online play, I want to make sure, like I said, I want to make sure it's replayable, but I didn't do a lot of online play in Assassin's Creed because they had the game modes for it. They had game modes, and it was like where you would have to like seek out other people that might be assassins. Like you basically tried to assassinate each other. And I did it a couple times and I was like, okay, this is it got a little ridiculous because not even because there were people that were just really good at it. It just there were times where it felt impossible because there was that many people in a lobby, in which you can have way more people now. But when you're talking about assassins, I mean, plain clothes people that look like NPCs, like they would act like people got that they dedicated that much time to act like an NPC. Like you could walk right by one. I know I did. Several times I walked right by one. He's like looks like he's standing there talking to some people. I walked by, turned around, right in the neck, hidden blade. I'm dead, and I'm like, it was an NPC. And I'm like, nope, that's a dude. And I'm like, damn it. So as far as online, like that part, if that was a mode, I probably would stay away from that part. But a co-op mode, like you're talking about, I think would be good. Like I said, with the ship, you can steer while I shoot, or I steer while he shoot. If you have set missions, like some of the harder assassinations, I would like to see done with multiple people, like in Brotherhood, where you were able to have, you were able to actually send assassins that were a part of your guild, I guess, your local deal. You could send them to do separate assassinations for you. I think it would be cool to take a play off of that, like you're saying. Okay, we're a part of this guild. There's a big assassination, like you said, like George Washington, or if you take it back to that time frame, where where you're at in Brotherhood, or if you're in France, in the Ezio times, Paris.
You got to kill the Pope or something. Yeah.
Like one of the big missions where you got to like take down somebody that's in, this huge fortress, and y'all both got to enter from different sides and figure out how to work together to get to where he's at, and assassinate like that. I'm for.
I think Daniel's right. He said he thinks it's going to be more like Watch Dogs, which I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, same company, so yeah. Which is. It's not all bad either if they go that route. Watch Dogs is not bad. I like Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
It's very, very open world, and you can interact with different people and different things. And, especially with Legion, they made it to where every NPC can be recruited, and like they have special abilities based off of what they are. Like that'd be actually kind of impressive in an Assassin's Creed type world.
Now, if they did online, just like you said, if they did different modes, like they took a page from Battlefield or something, and they had it to where, kind of like capture the flag or something, like two people send two assassins over there. You don't know who on your team. I mean, you don't know who in your, let's say, castle is the two assassins, but also you have two assassins over there, and y'all have a time limit. You either have to find out who the assassins are and kill them, or they have to hurry up and steal whatever they got to steal, or kill whoever the king is in there or whatever, and y'all have to see which team. Something like that. Or just, maybe it's like Elder Scrolls and everybody just doing their own thing. They're not killing each other, but you can hire somebody from another guild, and then they can say no, but he has the skill you need. It can actually be a regular person. Like you see Kaiser and you're like, hey, Kaiser, I want you to come work for our guild. Why? Because we need you. You the only one who got that special knife we need. And then Kaiser can charge you however much he want to charge you, and y'all can say no. Yes, he can be like, well, $2 million. $2 million? It's only $100,000 job. $2 million. Damn it. Okay, $2 million. Then he comes in and he does the job with you. It could be something like that. If they have stuff like that, that'd be dope. Things like that. I wouldn't mind stuff if they keep it. Boom, boom. But if it's just how you said it was in the other one, I wouldn't like that either. It wouldn't make sense.
That was a bit much for me, and Daniel brought up a good point. Yeah, the co-op mission structure in Assassin's Creed Unity, when you had two characters, that was fun. And that's the kind of co-op I'm talking about too. If we could have standalone co-op in a multiplayer setting, where I'm not having to jump between both characters, but somebody else is that character.
Yeah.
Then, but with bigger missions, like some of the bigger missions within the game. From multiple games. You could pick a big mission from any one of the timelines or any one of the games that already exist and have it be, co-op and have to work together. make it a little more difficult since there's two people and they're actual people, they're
Yeah.
not, one person and an NPC. Like, I think that would be, I think it would be dope. Like, it it would definitely pique my interest and make me want to play with other people. Because I could be like, hey, let's go, like you said, let's go assassinate George Washington real quick. He's in
Yeah,
that.
and I hope they let you customize everything. I mean, it should, because it's, I hope they like to where, because I think that'd be dope. Everybody can choose. You can choose. I mean, and when I say customize, I mean really customize. I don't mean that everybody get to where you got like 90 people in the hub wearing the hoodies, and everybody's, oh, I got a black hoodie, I got a purple hoodie. I mean, like, you can make your assassin you want. You want your assassin to have an eye patch. You want your assassin to not wear a hoodie. You want your assassin just to, have a sword right here. You want your assassin to have a sword on his back. You want your assassin to have a hoodie or to look like, one of the Native Americans. You want your assassin to look like somebody from Greece or somebody from Egypt. You can have your assassin look any way you want. And then just in that mission, you picking up. I want them to just be really, really creative, because I think that's the only way to make the most sense, to make everybody really happy. The most creative, custom, however you can, and then the stuff you have on you, it also it would make sense too. So, for example, if you're wearing the hoodie and the robe, you probably can hide more things in there. So that means you might pick the hoodie jacket type thing, because you might want to carry more hidden items. You might just want the Native American look, so you can carry tomahawks and things like that. Just different things like that. That way I think it'll work better. So I really hope. I know we're speculating a lot, but that's what I would like. I think that'd be dope.
It's fun to speculate. Somebody, the right person, gets around and see this. Like, hey, you hear all this? This is good stuff. This is stuff you need to take notes on. These are things from people who have played games. So, Daniel brought up another good point. He said, "What if you go on?" He called them Carmen San Diego runs, but basically, I guess, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically on a run to go track down said person or said item, and wherever you got to go, you go to different places to try to find it, and then as you're on the way back, or as you're collecting whatever it is, you get different unlocks for different stuff. Then he brought up the deal about what about working, like, or you find out that you work for Abstergo, or you play as Abstergo, the company that created the Animus. Like,
that'd be dope.
That would give a different look. Like, there's so many things they could do. Like, you could leave it completely open world. Just let me choose what I want to do. Like, I want to go to this timeline and I want to see what these people were doing at this time, and maybe you roll up on a riot. I say that because there was it Ezio? No, it wasn't Ezio. It was the guy right after Ezio. There was always riots going on in his timeline all the time. You roll up and there's huge crowds, like riots. It was easy for you to blend in. You like infiltrate your way all the way up to the stage if you want to, and stab somebody in the neck, and then get back in the crowd and leave. I mean, it was nuts. But maybe you run up on a timeline where there's a huge riot going on, and they're protesting whoever's up on the stage speaking, and maybe you come to that timeline just to, because it's like, what, I don't like that dude. He's causing problems. Maybe you go there, assassinate him, and then leave, just because you wanted to. Completely open world. Everything should have a consequence. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Interesting if you choose to do something like that. If the timeline changes and you get ready to go to somewhere else, and because you did that, this changed here.
And what would be dope, it would, let's say, I don't know. I mean, we got so many people in the world. It depends on the servers, right? So let's say if you go to this one server, you know that everything in this server, as long as you stay in this server, no matter who comes in this server, like you said, whatever they affect with. So let's say you leave your character, you done, so you put your character to sleep or whatever, and you go away to work or whatever. You come back, whatever, you probably get notifications on your phone or whatever. But whatever has happened in that server, as long as your character is in that server, that's happened. Then night changes, day changes. Oh, you thought you was going to assassinate that dude, but he ended up killing these people or some things like that. And then you can leave that server, go to another server, and it could be just a whole different same story, but whole different set of things going on. You're like, what? I thought he was dead. No, that was in that server. He's dead. Over here, he's alive, and he got 1 million people, and they all want to kill you. So I mean, that'd be dope. You know, you could use different servers to have that kind of thing like that. So you know, that I'm interested because of course you can't just have it where everybody could be on that one server. You destroy the game. You know, it's impossible.
Right.
I mean, what all 100 servers working together like that? It's still impossible. I don't think there ain't no way.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is, y'all tell me because I don't know. I don't know how servers work like that much, but I don't think that'll work. Even with the new consoles.
Let me tell you, it'd be Daniel, man. He is a tech guru. I used to work with him when I worked at Channel 9. I think he still works at Channel 9, but he was IT. Well, he's over there. He's still IT. He's mega smart, man. But no, but that's about all I got. I will make sure that we keep you up to date on this whole Assassin's Creed thing. I'm interested, just simply because I'm a huge fan of the series. I don't think I played one that I just didn't like. I found something to enjoy about all of them. The history is what got me. Is like all the historically accurate places, and then people from the history that were actual people. One of my favorite, and I still to this day, and I'll say it until I find something different that becomes my favorite. My favorite thing that I've done in an Assassin's Creed game, hands down, was when I got to start the assassination of Julius Caesar in Origins. That was like the dopest thing ever. It caught me off guard. I walked in to that room and I saw it. It took me like 5 seconds to understand exactly what was going on, but I didn't realize that I was gonna do it until like I walked in and it said to do it. Like I walked in, I saw, he's there speaking, and like that's Caesar, that's Julius Caesar, and I saw the people circled up, and I was like, this is the thing where they all like killed him, they stabbed him. This is it. Then it like popped up on the screen and it says to do it. I'm like, what? And you walk up at chicken or like the girl in Origin, you walk up and you stab him in front of everybody, pull your blade back out, walk away, and then they all begin to stab him as history says happened to Julius Caesar. They all stab him and kill him. And that's so sad. It sounds terrible. I'm talking about killing people, but it's got to be one of the dopest things.
Video games.
I remembered it, like even as being a kid, I remember like when they talked about it in history in school. I was like, yo, they said that's what they said happened to him. That's dope. I started that. Nice. And I was good with it. So I mean, Assassin's Creed, I'm gonna definitely keep my eyes open on it because, like I said, it's one of my favorite games, and it keeps me entertained no matter what timeline there is. But we will have that for you guys.
One more thing. It's nothing. I mean, it's not necessarily about Assassin's Creed, but I just remembered it. So PlayStation got here in Mingledy. PlayStation's having a some type of. I think they just announced that later on they're gonna do their state of play, or they're gonna talk about it. So who knows? Maybe Assassin's Creed might come up with something doing next. I know they're next to do their announcements. I'm not sure if it's gonna be anytime soon or if they're just trying to set up their annual holiday one that they always do at the end of the year. But I know they've kind of mentioned that their games they're gonna talk about exclusives, indies, and some other stuff or whatever. So who knows? Maybe Assassin's Creed may sneak up in there, and then sneak, pun intended. But and then maybe they'll. Sorry, that was that was horrible. But maybe they'll come up and show some. Maybe they'll talk about it. 'Cause I doubt they have gameplay. If they do, then they're really good. They've done a good job and not keeping that. So I was gonna do another one, but I didn't feel like it. So.
It's all right.
Like that.
All right, well, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If you have not, make sure to like, share, comment. If we got lots of comments. As always, I'm thankful for Daniel and my little brother for coming on, and Joey coming on and talking with us. We're gonna get y'all on camera. I did see I did see Daniel. I saw your message later on that you were saying that you would come on camera. We are gonna do that one show. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have you come on camera and sit and talk with us because I think it would be awesome. It's what we need to have happen. So we will do that. We will do that. Maybe on the next get down. Maybe on the next get down. I'll call you up and we'll figure out what we're gonna talk about and we'll schedule it with the producer over there with all the gadgets and stuff, with the cool microphone stand, snowball and whatnot. We'll schedule it with him. That way we can get you on and we'll talk some gaming and whatnot, man. Because you always are in the chat. Joey, you know you're always welcome. So, and my little brother, he ain't gonna come on camera. He's too shy. So, but he'll talk noise to me in this chat. So, like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. It goes for YouTube and Facebook. If you were on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you as well. We appreciate it. You know, share. Subscribe to us. Please subscribe to us. Yes, I am begging. Subscribe. Content's going to get better. Conversations are going to get better as the holidays come, especially with gaming, because you already know that's whenever they start releasing some of this stuff that we've been seeing teaser trailers on. So we appreciate y'all for rocking with us this evening, and see you next time on The Get Down.